Welcome to the WolfPack Sports Wire, a podcast from the athletic department at Whitefield Academy. Whitefield Academy is a Christ-centered pre-K through 12 college preparatory school located in Smyrna, Georgia. On this show, we highlight our hardworking coaches and student athletes who are excelling in and out of competition. Welcome back to the WolfPack Sports Wire. I'm your host, Jack Hunter. It's the week of October 6th, and today is episode 8 of the show. In this pre-fall break episode, we sit down with Whitefield head football coach Robert Walsh and volleyball senior Blaire Kennerly. First, here's Coach Walsh as the team looks forward to a matchup with Best Academy this Friday. Coach, how are you doing? How'd you enjoy the bye week?
I'm doing pretty good, Jack. Enjoyed the bye week. The kids came to work at practice every day, so that was good to see. Probably one of our better bye weeks practicing since I've been here. How are you doing, Jack?
I'm doing well. Enjoyed the Friday night off and getting ready to kind of hit the surge for the rest of the regular season. I'm looking forward to it. So what would you say is kind of some differences in your routine, if there are any, coming into this week, knowing that you did not have a game on Friday night, you're not watching tape on the game, recovering from the game, and looking forward to a game, that you've had 2 weeks now to kind of prepare for this upcoming game versus Best Academy?
Last week we kind of took the opportunity to introduce our boys to our next 3 opponents, which is Best, Landmark, and Walker. This week, obviously, we're just going to solely focus on Best, who's a really athletic team. They are struggling this year a little bit with numbers, but they still have some really good athletes that can hurt you in space. So we're going to have to be mindful of that going into this week.
So you kind of got a 2-for-1 special. You were able to get 2 of these teams and see 2 of them. Last Friday, Best and Landmark played each other, so you were able to see that. What were your takeaways of those teams competing against each other, and how big was it to be able to see both of them kind of get a 2-for-1 special there?
I'm kind of old school in this way. I like going to scout in person, see the teams up close and see how they respond to adversity in person, and also see, the size of their kids and how hard their kids play. Best is struggling this year a little bit with just what's transpired in their coaching change and all those things. So, their coach is doing a great job of trying to put their kids in the right situation and coaching them up well, and their kids are playing hard. A lot of credit to them. Being able to see Landmark in person, they're very, very talented. Skylar Hamilton, Joe Hamilton's son's their quarterback. He's having a really, really good year. And then they got a receiver in Freeney that is one of the best receivers we're probably going to see all year. So both those guys are going to be a tremendous challenge for our defense. And then their defense, they're extremely aggressive, man. They blitz every play Landmark does. So, that's something that definitely popped out to me when we went and watched them in person.
So how do you balance when you have a bye week? How do you balance trying to get some guys healthy, get them rested, but also having the time to put the pads on and get physical, and having that extra time to really work on some things that you might not have during kind of a shorter week?
Every bye week, I think you kind of look at it different, just depending on where you're at in the season. Early in the season, you're probably going to challenge your kids a little bit more physically. Later in the season, you're going to, kind of get the pulse on how the team's doing health-wise, and maybe they're a little wore out, so you're a little bit lighter. Like we went shells all last week and kind of lightened up the full contact and focused on fundamentals a lot in our individual drills. And some guys that were a little banged up, gave them a little bit of time off as well, just to allow them to recover and prepare for this home stretch of 4 games.
So you've talked a good bit about Best and Landmark. Let's start with Best, because Best is the opponent this Friday night. What do you think from your side are going to be the keys to the game for you guys to play a well-played football game?
I think is, taking our mentality and making sure that, we play to our standard. When you're playing a team that has struggled like Best has, you tend to, sometimes you're dealing with high school boys. Sometimes they'll play down to their competition a little bit throughout that game. This week it's preaching to our boys. Yes, Best is struggling this year, but they have athletes that can make you pay. So we need to do a good job preparing and playing to our standard and being able to look at ourselves in the mirror after that game saying, we played to our standard, we didn't play down to theirs.
So off the field, especially when region play starts, you guys have some traditions that you are partaking in. One being the Tuesday team meal that's starting. So by the time you at home are listening to this will already happen. We're recording this on a Monday. But tell us about this team meal, what it does for your team and what it consists of.
So Tuesday nights, this is something that I kind of took from previous coaching staff that I was on. Coach Woodward at Savannah Christian, we kind of started doing team meals during the week. And it gives an opportunity for maybe the boys to hear from some of our coaches what they're really working through right now spiritually. It could be a coach's testimony. It could be some of our seniors wanting to get up there and speak in front of their team and share what God is really putting on their heart right now. I truly value these team meals. I feel like it builds camaraderie within the football program, and you get to hear some different things in these team meals that normally probably don't happen organically at times during a football season. So it's a time for us to get to know each other a little bit better, a time for us to fellowship and just talk about what God's doing in each one of our lives.
So another opportunity is the next day on the Wednesday, Circle the W, an opportunity for the seniors to share about their experience with the school and with Whitefield football. What's that been like?
You know, last region game against Mount Perrin, we had 3 seniors get out there and speak, and Sam Blee, William Dukes, and Harrison Brantley. And, you know, what they kind of spoke about, it wasn't so much, you know, the wins and losses that they take away from Whitefield football. All 3 of them talked a lot about the life lessons that come from being part of this football program and the work it takes to be successful, the mental toughness. You know, William Dukes spoke about, you know, being an immature, you know, freshman and sophomore and learning to grow in discipline and understand what discipline truly means, and growing into a young man. Him speaking about that, just talking about being part of our football program. It's a time for our seniors to speak to those younger guys, those freshmen and sophomores that may be struggling right now because football's hard. You know, it's a chance for them to share with those guys and let those guys understand, you know, it's all worth it. And, you know, I want us to be a successful football program. I'm just like every other coach in the state of Georgia. I want to win a state championship. But at the same time, if our young men can leave our program and understand what it means to deal with adversity and grow into great, godly young men for the future, I think we won a state championship in that mindset.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm looking at your remaining schedule of the season, and it's a lot of home games. 3 out of the next 4 games are going to be at home after already a lot of home games this year. I think in total it's 7 out of 10. What has it been like for not only your team from a kind of a, you know, on the field wins and losses perspective, but just overall for this program to be able to play at home in front of the home fans a bunch of times this year?
You know, in my 3 years of being here, our home environment has grown into a special community event on a Friday night. I take great pride in playing here at home and playing in front of our community. I know we had Savannah Christian community come up and visit us week 1, and they just spoke very highly of our environment and our community in general. You know, it's a special time to play at home, and you know, we got a big senior class, so being able to celebrate them with each home game and them be able to play in front of their community and in front of their peers, I think is something truly special.
Something I was watching kind of in the last Mount Perrin game is now you guys are 5 points away from tying how many points you scored last year for the full season, and you've played 6 games this year, and you might have hit it if it weren't for the running clock. I know you probably don't take too much of a, you know, you took too much importance in numbers like those, but when you kind of see how this program from year 1 to now year 3 has continued to climb, what does that mean to you to see, you know, just stuff on paper like win totals, points scored, points allowed, but also just how the program overall has kind of stepped up?
Well, this is year 3 of, you know, kind of our vision of what the program could become. And year three of being in, our offensive system, our defensive system, and our special team system. So, you got kids on this team that have been playing on Friday nights since their sophomore year that are seniors now. Some of our juniors have been playing for 2 to 3 years now. So you got kids in your program that understand the standard, understand the execution of the offense and defense that allows you to see the numbers and win totals grow like that. And I honestly do dangle, little carrots here and there in front of the boys to get them to play a little bit harder and let them know there is something out there to play for. The highest scoring offense in Whitefield's history is 408 points in a season. So I have mentioned that to the boys, and they're licking their chops to hopefully break that this season.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate the time and good luck this Friday.
I appreciate it, Jack, and go Pack.
Our next guest is volleyball senior Blaire Kennerly. Blaire is the team's libero, and her play recently helped the Pack to a 2-1 record at the area tournament. She's had a strong year on the court, as she's recorded just under 200 digs on this season. Her team is now practicing hard as they wait to see who their first-round state opponent is next week. We're now joined by Blaire Kennerly of the girls volleyball team. Blaire, it's great to have you on. How are you enjoying your senior year?
It's been great. Thank you for asking. We've had a really good season this year so far. We have a really great team chemistry, so that's most of it, which is why it's been going so well. So
yeah, well, take us inside kind of a practice or maybe a game day. When you say you have great team chemistry, what's the vibe of the team like? What's the energy like?
I would say we're a really crazy team. Not crazy as in like wild, more just really funny. So a practice would be starting off just messing around at the start, playing short court, and then we go into practice with Coach Heather leading us in all of our drills. But I would say part of that team chemistry is we do have times when we have a lot of fun and it's really funny, but also we can lock in really well and bounce off of each other in competitiveness and just get not only aggressive, which is good at times, but also just have that drive in us that is really helpful for practice.
That's great. So you're coming off of the area tournament. You won 2 out of your 3 matches there. You finished 3rd in the area. Take us through how you thought the team played and how you guys were able to take home 2 matches there.
I think we played really well, especially our game against Bremen was really great because we matched their energy and was just able to bounce off every ball that they were going with. And they have a really good middle hitter, which we were able to adjust on. So towards the end of the game, you could just see from the start to the end how much we grew just in that one match.
So you guys have some momentum going into the state tournament. You guys are 6-3 in your last 9 matches. What do you think if there's been anything that you guys have been doing really well in the last few weeks to get you guys ready to go into the state tournament?
I think just preparing and practice. Coach Heather's called a couple of the leaders on the team to bring in drills to practice, which we think that we need to work on. So for tipping, corners, and blocking, we've been really needing to work on that. So me, as well as Madison Auer, Addie Burnett, we've all been bringing in drills to help with that. So I think her bringing in people from the team to do drills has helped us because it's helped us to listen more, I would say, because it's easier to hear something that you need to work on from someone your own age than a coach, I would say, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So you talk about Coach Heather DeSantis. She's in her first year as a varsity head coach, but she's been with the program at the JV level for a few seasons before that. What's it been like to have her as the varsity coach in her first year, but also as a familiar face in the program?
Mm-hmm. I had her my sophomore year as a JV coach, and then I had Coach Ledford for junior year, and now I have her again. So it's been great to see the difference between when I had her in her first year as a JV coach to now as a varsity coach, because she's just been a really great influence on all of us, I would say. She teaches us. She's a really good teacher because she knows volleyball so well, but also she's just a good leader to the team, and she helps us stay focused and stay organized and driven, but also she's just a really great person in general. So
You've had a big step up in your role this year, in your playing time. You're the libero of the team, different colored jersey. Obviously, there's a lot of responsibility on the court in terms of your X's and O's. But from a leadership perspective, what have you learned about being a leader in that role this year, and also just being a leader in terms of just playing a lot and having a big role in the team this year?
I would say stepping into that role, I had to learn to talk a lot more to each player on the court. So encouragement-wise, learning how each player likes to be encouraged and also pushed. So which people like to be called out when they're doing something wrong and which just need to figure it out in their head and I shouldn't talk to them about it. But I would say just learning everyone's personalities and just talking on the court, because it's also, you have to keep people organized on the court and also push them to not only think about themselves but also others. So
that's great. So you got a little bit of time between the area tournament and the state playoffs. What do you guys plan on doing to stay ready for when that first round comes?
Just practice this week. And also practice on Monday, which is fall break. So we're going to still be in the gym during then. But we're going to try to spend some more time bringing in drills that we need to work on that we haven't done yet. And also we're also trying to bring fun into it. We're doing costumes for some of the days next week. So that should get us focused, but also still encouraged. Towards the end of the season, it's hard to stay encouraged because you're kind of burnt out a little bit, but we're trying to bring fun into it to help everyone stay focused on the goal. All
right. Well, speaking of fun, we like to end every episode with a little rapid fire questions. So I got about 7 or 8 questions for you, quick answers. We get some great answers from fellow student athletes every week, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. First of all, what's your favorite Bible verse?
I would say all of Psalm 91 is a really great passage for me.
That's great. What is your dream job?
A PA in anesthesiology.
So what is your favorite pregame meal?
We have Chick-fil-A and kale salad, which is really good, which sounds kind of weird, but it's good, I swear.
Hey, good pregame fuel. What is your favorite pregame song?
No Hands, Waka Flocka.
There we go. What's your favorite animal?
A flamingo.
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Mind reading, definitely.
And lastly, what is a hobby that you have off the court that people may not know about you?
I'm a really avid reader. I really like to read.
Any particular genre?
I like historical fiction.
All right. Well, Blaire, I appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That'll wrap it up for this week's edition of the WolfPack Sports Wire. Thank you to Robert Walsh and Blaire Kennerly for the time today. I hope everybody listening has a great, safe, and restful fall break, and we'll catch you next week right here on The Wire.